Welcome to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, a licensed psychologist and grief specialist, here to help change the conversation about grief and build community and connection while we all adjust to this new normal we are living in. This podcast is for you if you are grieving or if you are supporting someone in a season of grief. I'm glad you're here. Hey friends, welcome back to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, and this is an episode for the ones who don't always feel seen on Mother's Day. It's for anyone who finds themselves grieving because of infertility, miscarriage, or the loss of a child they never got to hold in their arms. Maybe you've been trying to become a parent. Maybe you've experienced the heartbreak of a pregnancy loss. Maybe you're grieving the version of motherhood you imagined but haven't reached. Or maybe you've had to let go of the hope of becoming a parent altogether. Whatever your story looks like, you are not alone in this grief, and you deserve more than silence today. This episode is a soft space for those carrying invisible losses, the kind our culture too often skips over when it talks about quote unquote celebrating moms. Because the reality is not everyone feels celebrated this weekend. Some feel shattered, some feel erased, and today I want to hold space for you. We're talking about the invisible grief of childless motherhood, what it means to mother a child you never got to hold, how to cope ahead for the coming weekend, and how to create a gentle, grief-informed aftercare plan. If this already feels like a weight in your chest, you are not alone, and you don't have to perform anything this weekend. You just get to be. So I want to start by saying this isn't a day that hurts because you didn't try. It hurts because you did. You loved, you hoped, you tried, you dreamed, or carried something deeply meaningful, and now all you have is grief. And the world, it is loud right now. Mother's Day can feel like one big spotlight shining on only one kind of motherhood. It's full of assumptions, pressure, and silence where care should be. So what if you've been trying to conceive and can't? What if you've gone through cycle after cycle, procedure after procedure, and all you have to show for it is more grief and more bills? What if you were pregnant and excited and then everything changed? What if you've had multiple losses and no one knows just how many? What if your body has been through it? Quietly, painfully, relentlessly. And people keep saying things like, you'll be a mom someday, just keep trying, it'll happen for you. What if you've made the decision to stop trying and you're grieving not only the outcome, but the dream you had to release? There are so many versions of mothering that never get acknowledged, and they deserve to be. There's a unique grief in feeling like your pain doesn't count. You see posts of people with their kids in matching outfits. You hear Mother's Day on repeat in every store. Even in our email inboxes, we see it in all of these ads. People ask if you have kids, and you hesitate, not knowing how to answer, because the truth is you've mothered through longing, you've mothered through loss, you've mothered through decisions no one should have to make, and you've mothered through grief that no one else saw. You are not less of a woman, less of a person, and not less deserving of compassion because your motherhood didn't come with a birth certificate. You don't need a living child to have felt love, connection, and heartbreak on a cellular level. So let's name some of what this day might hold for you. You might feel numb. You might feel rage. You might feel deep jealousy, even towards people you love. You might cry and not know exactly why. You might want to be celebrated, and you also might want to be left alone. You might be dreading a well-meaning text that says, thinking of all the moms today, when you're not sure anyone is thinking of you. And if you're in a partnership, this grief may feel isolating even there, because your partner may not fully understand the physical toll, the emotional fatigue, the mental exhaustion, or the shame and the fear that can come with this kind of loss. So you may feel like the world has moved on and left you behind. And I want you to know your grief still matters. So let's talk about coping ahead. Coping ahead is something I talk about with clients all the time, especially around grief heavy anniversaries, holidays, and cultural landmines like this one. So, what does coping ahead look like for this coming Mother's Day weekend? First, we're going to ask ourselves 3 questions. 1, what are known triggers or known things that activate us that I want to prepare for? Is it social media posts? Is it texts from well-meaning friends? Do I need to just put my phone on do not disturb? Family members asking about kids or plans? Church services, flower ads, grocery store displays? What are those known triggers I want to prepare for? Number 2, what are boundaries that I need to set? Do I want to take a social media break for the weekend or even for May? Do I want to let people know I'm not doing Mother's Day this year? Do I want to turn off notifications? Do I want to ask my partner or a friend to run errands for me? Like, what are the boundaries that I need to set for this week, this weekend? And then 3, what will support my nervous system? Do I have a weighted blanket or a weighted stuffy? Does a morning walk help, either by myself or with a safe friend? Aromatherapy, cold plunges, sleeping in. Sleep is so restful. Do I want to leave town entirely? Like, I just want to escape, but want to get away. Super valid option for my nervous system. Do I want to have one person check in with me and no one else? Do I have that designated safe friend that I can ask to just check in and then hold a boundary for others to leave me alone? You are allowed to plan your weekend around your emotional safety. And that's not selfish, it's skillful, because this can be an emotionally activating time of the year. So you can also kind of choose your own plan, almost like a choose your own adventure. So maybe this weekend, try this simple framework of anchor, exit, and soothe. So anchor, choosing one grounding ritual you'll do Saturday and or Sunday, something that reminds you of who you are outside of grief. Number 2, exit. Pick an quote unquote out if something gets overwhelming, whether that's a code phrase, a signal, or a plan to make an Irish exit and leave early. Pick an out if something feels too much. So say you want to try going to brunch or doing something with friends, and then you get there, you're 5 minutes in and it's just kidding, too much for me, and you already have an exit strategy planned. Sometimes I have clients even text the host ahead of time if it's a safe friend, be like, hey, I'm going to try to come, and if I have to leave early, please don't take it personally. It's just too much for me today. And then they're setting themselves up to have an easy, less shame-filled exit strategy. And then 3, soothe. Prep your favorite meal, music playlist, binge watch a show, bath, or even a walk. Something that says, I'm still here and I'm worthy of care. Coping ahead doesn't take the grief away. It does give you agency. And when the world feels uncontrollable, that agency really matters. So caring for yourself today on Mother's Day. This isn't an episode where I'm going to tell you to turn it into a gratitude practice or reframe the pain into a lesson. I really want us to think through how to protect yourself and tend to yourself on this day that can be really hard. So here's a few things that might help on the day of. Use what works, leave what doesn't. It's going to look different for each person. So 1, setting the emotional boundaries on the day of. Okay, you don't have to respond to every Happy Mother's Day message. You don't owe anyone your story or your polite reply. It's okay to ignore group texts, stay off socials, and turn off your phone. Number 2, acknowledge your grief out loud. Say it, write it, whisper it. This hurts. I wanted to be a mother. I am grieving the baby I never got to meet. This isn't fair. Naming it, it's not weakness. It is self-honoring. Number 3, create a ritual if that feels grounding. Again, if this feels in alignment with you, great. If not, leave it. So examples could be lighting a candle, writing a letter to the child you lost, journaling about the mother you are becoming, even if you're the only one who sees her. Place a flower somewhere that feels meaningful. Whatever your body needs. There is no one right way to do a ritual here. There is flexibility and creativity. And if a ritual doesn't make sense for this day, then that gets to be okay too. It's about being with our feelings, not the doing. And number 4, let yourself off the hook. This day isn't about performing wellness. You don't have to quote unquote be strong for anyone. You don't have to prove you're okay. If you stay in bed all day or cry in the car or numb out with a show, that's not failure. That's just self-preservation. You're allowed to do that this day. And then let's talk about aftercare, because that matters too. So let's talk about what happens after Sunday, after the day, because for so many of you, Monday's going to come and the grief is still going to be there, right? You might feel hungover emotionally, physically, spiritually. You might feel like you quote unquote should be okay because, oh, I made it through the day. I braced myself. I made it through the day. We don't have to rush your grief back into silence. So here are some suggestions for what an aftercare plan could look like. Maybe plan a slow Monday morning if you can. Don't schedule things that are going to be back to back. Give yourself some re-entry space. Like when you go scuba diving, we talk about deep sea diving in a lot of my grief work, that oscillation between the depths in the bottom of the ocean and then coming back up for air. We need a slow re-entry to prevent the bends. So give yourself re-entry space. Number 2, you could try writing a note to yourself on Sunday night, something like, you did the best you could with the tools and resources you had today. That was hard, and I'm proud of you for surviving today. You're validating that you had complicated emotions on Sunday, and that gets to be okay, and that can be encouraging to your future self. 3, maybe bookend the weekend with something steady, like a support call, a therapy session, a walk with a safe friend, someone who gets it. And number 4, hydrate, sleep, nourish, and notice. How are you feeling? What do you need now that the noise has died down? What does that suffering part of me need? And honor that. Ask yourself that question and then meet that need. So here's what I want you to know. Your grief counts, even if no one else says their name. You don't have to be a mother in someone else's eyes to feel like one in your own. You are allowed to opt out of the celebration and into your own care. You are not invisible. You are not weak. You are not grieving wrong. And you don't have to minimize your pain because your pain is valid. You are allowed to love and miss and mourn and hope and still have no tidy ending. You are not forgotten today, not here, not in this space. So if this weekend is heavy, know that you are allowed to step back from celebration culture. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to grieve something no one else can see. You are still mothering, even if the world doesn't recognize it. And you are definitely still worthy of tenderness, of support, and of space. You are showing up for yourself in a world that hasn't shown up for you. And that is something to honor. So take care of your boundaries, take care of your breath, take care of your heart. And I'm holding that with you. Remember to be kind to yourselves today and this weekend. And I'll see you next time. Take care.
That's it for today's episode of Grief is the New Normal. If this conversation resonated with you or you think it might benefit someone else, please share it. Sharing can open doors to healing, understanding, and normalizing these griefy conversations. If you're craving deeper insights or ongoing support, consider signing up for the Grief Gap newsletter. It's packed with resources, tips, and personal stories to help you navigate your grief journey. Visit the website www.griefisthenewnormal.com to subscribe. For those who prefer a more personal touch to their healing process, check out my grief journal, Authentically Unapologetic. It's designed to help you explore your grief on your own terms with prompts and exercises that encourage reflection and growth. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, and I look forward to our next meaningful conversation. Our soothing tunes are provided by the Datacorns. If you're interested in sharing your story, collaborating, or learning more, please email me at hello@griefisthenewnormal.com. You can also stream the episodes on YouTube for more engaging content. Until next time, keep exploring your grief with intention and support, remembering you don't have to do this alone.